What's up, Facebook? It is Thursday at 1:30 now, and I have CJ Lyon on with me now. CJ is the sales manager at Landmark Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Yep.
Okay, and you're in Atlanta?
Yeah, we've got 3 stores. We're on the north side of Atlanta.
And what do you do for the dealership?
Sales manager there.
And how long have you been in the business?
I started in the business in 2009, so 10 years.
10 years now. And you're a sales manager, so you're desking deals all day?
Yep, desking deals. I actually do a little bit of everything. I mean, I do a lot of the contracts in transit. I do submit deals, structure deals, a little bit of everything.
Okay. How big is the store that you work at?
We're about 150 to 175 cars a month.
Okay. And I'm just really getting on here to just talk to different people in the industry, a little bit about social media, things that they're noticing in the dealership, just kind of share thoughts, ideas, opinions, and things like that. Does your dealership use social media at all?
Very little. I mean, we've got some ads going, but they're not very effective. So not as much as I'd like to.
So what kind of advertising is the dealership doing?
Pretty much a lot of, what normal dealer or what dealers who think they're in today's market are doing and that aren't hitting the Facebook stuff and the social media stuff. A lot of True Car stuff, a lot of Auto Trader, Cars.com, the pay-per-click, all that stuff.
So is it driving a lot of price shoppers?
Oh, absolutely. That's our number one lead source is True Car. So, I mean, it's constantly price.
So a lot of minis on the floor?
Yes and no. I would definitely say more minis than not. Right. But not our salespeople do a great job when people get in and building value, and do a great job of building value over the phone and just setting an appointment instead of hammering down on price. Even though we've got everything priced out there, they do a phenomenal job of building the value. So that way, if there is anything left, we're not giving everything away.
Right. So you'd mentioned before the video came on that you guys are heavy in subprime. Would the subprime customers be part of the reason why you're able to offset some of those lower priced vehicles?
Yes and no. I would definitely say that's a part of it. But we're pretty, a lot of dealers will change prices and everything else. We're not really in that kind of business. We still try to honor, if they came in on an internet price, we still honor it. If it means we take a little bit of a more of a loss because of a bank fee, then we do. But that's a lot of it is the people who didn't come in online. Being in Atlanta, we don't get, on the north side, we don't get as much floor traffic as we'd like, but we do get some floor traffic that just walk in the door and haven't been shopping everywhere else, or even if they have, we are able to build that value up to where we can hold some gross and not give everything away.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely an issue with a heavy digital store. Is there any traditional advertising that the store is still doing, or is it all digital?
I believe we do a little bit of radio. I don't listen to the radio, so I'm not even positive if we're doing it. I think we are. We do a little bit of TV, but nothing, no newspaper or anything like that.
Right. What about social media internally with the sales reps? Are your sales reps using social media?
My more successful sales reps are. Okay. And I'm sure that has part of the reason why they're more successful. They are the guys and girls who aren't making just minis, because they're bringing their own people in. They're bringing some referrals in. It's not price. It's people coming in because they know what kind of value that salesperson can provide.
Right. Yeah, I definitely pay more for value as a customer because I've never worked in a dealership. I've always been a vendor. So I have to go through a normal, typical customer process most of the time.
Right.
And if a dealer can get things done for me, I'm not always beating them up. I mean, obviously there are situations where if I'm trying to roll some negative equity or something like that, I have to I have to push them a little bit to get it done.
Yep.
But for the most part, I mean, as long as it's a reasonable price and it's not out of this world, and I don't mind if the dealer makes money if they make my process easy and fast. So I do think that there are people out there that still value their time and still value a smooth, easy process.
Oh, absolutely.
How long have you been at that store?
I'm actually pretty new down here. I moved to Atlanta at the end of April to work at this store. So I've been here, a little over 2 months now.
Did they recruit you there?
No, actually, I knew I wanted to come to Atlanta. Landmark has a pretty good reputation. Our sister store is actually the largest Dodge store in the world. So a company like that and still does it the right way is what kind of drew me to them. I knew I wanted to leave Illinois and I wanted to go south. And I had an idea that I would like to work with Landmark, so I just came down and visited around with some dealers.
And you went straight in as a sales manager?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And where'd you come from?
I actually came from a BMW store in Illinois. I was the GSM there for 2 years.
Okay, cool. BMW and CDJR, that's a big difference. What's the what are you noticing what's the biggest difference between those two brands?
Really, I mean, in this market, it's not a lot because we do a lot of the high dollar CDJR stuff. I mean, we have Hellcats and Trackhawks and everything. So, I mean, I've noticed. So I went from Chevy, Nissan, Mercedes store to a Ford, Lincoln, Hyundai store to the BMW store to here. And I've noticed, all those brands are vastly different. And I've noticed that if you treat, a 450 who's looking at a Jeep Cherokee just like an 800 who's looking at a BMW X5, I mean, you're going to be more successful all around.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always prided myself on is I don't care how much you make. I don't care what your payment's going to be, what your budget's going to be. I'm going to treat you just like a customer should be treated. I mean, like I said, if you treat every customer like that BMW X5 or 7 Series customer, you're going to sell more cars, you're going to make more money, you're going to have happier clients.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of people spend too much time looking down on customers as opposed to just helping them all the same and seeing what you can get done for that particular customer in their particular situation. Because the 500 isn't always going to be a 500. Sometimes they're going to be an 800. Eventually in their life, they hopefully make it to an 800. I remember the first time I bought a car, being in the car business, I was making ridiculous money selling direct mail to car dealers, and my checks were like $50,000 a month, and I had a 525 credit score, 500 credit score. Had the worst credit score in the world. I was young, had already messed up my credit. And John Carlson, one of my customers, he said, "Okay, I can get you done," because John can get anyone done. And I come in and I'm showing him my pay stub. He's like, "You make how much?" Over the years, I've probably purchased. I mean, I've even bought cars from John when it wasn't even the best deal, but I've probably purchased in the years 15 cars from him. Just because, he treated me differently and he was able to get me into something. And I've stayed loyal to him, especially if it's a product. Unfortunately, he works at a Hyundai store now. And I don't know if I'm going to buy a Hyundai anytime soon. They will stay loyal to you. I mean, they're going to stay loyal to you if you treat them right. You treat them like royalty. You treat them just like you would a 800 credit score BMW customer.
Yep.
So at your store, do you guys do much with what's your process when you get a lead? Are you asking them buying questions? Or are you trying to just set an appointment? What's the process at the store you're at now with lead process?
I would say the vast majority of the time, unless the customer asks specific questions, it's setting the appointment. I mean, we all know that if you try to sell a car over the phone, you're never going to either get the deal or you're never going to make any money getting the deal. So, right. And it's so hard to build value in yourself, a product or anything over the phone. And my successful salespeople and even probably my mid-tier salespeople all get that. So it works pretty well. We have one guy who handles BDC in general. And then most of them go to our internet leads as they come in, go to our better salespeople that handle them better. If we get backlogged, then they go to anybody that's available. But then it's myself and our floor manager watching over them at that point.
And you guys don't use TECOBI yet. I know you've been working with Dan trying to get it in the store. But in your normal CRM, like, let's start with this. How many leads a month does your store get? Do you know?
I just looked. Total leads, I think, is around 1,200. I think after our BDC manager goes through it, I think we end up at about 900 unique leads, and I think he said we end up about 750 for not actual good leads.
Okay, and in your traditional CRM follow-up process, how long are you following up with a lead?
That is where we're weak at right now. That's where TECOBI would make the massive difference for us. We are extremely strong for like the first week, right, and then after that it drops off. And I think part of that is how many we have coming in versus how many good salespeople we actually have to handle them.
Right, and that's kind of the limitations in a CRM is just the workflow inside of a CRM kind of limits how many leads can affect. And after a week, let's say after a week when things are getting when you guys can't work them any longer, what happens to the lead at that point right now in your current CRM? Are they just going into an email round robin? Are they going into an email list, or what happens?
So in that, they still stay in the follow-up rotation. They still get emails and everything. They still have phone calls scheduled. But unfortunately, once they hit a week old, that's kind of if a salesperson can get there, they get there.
Right. You guys kind of see them come back 6 months later when they're ready to buy a car and submit a new lead through a different provider. Typically, what I'm seeing on my end is you'll get them when they're early in the shopping process. They submit a lead, you get it, you don't get them, you guys off after a week, and then a couple months later, you see that customer from another provider where you're paying for that same lead over again.
Exactly.
So about a week seems right. I mean, I would say that that's ideally what you guys are shooting for, but in reality, it might even be less for a lot of stores. That there may be a handful of phone calls that are actually made, and then after that, it's kind of given up on and moving to the next lead. So that's kind of interesting. What CRM do you guys use?
Right now, we're with Dealer Socket.
What do you think about Dealer Socket?
I came from Vin, so I'm not. I think Vin is much better.
Right. It might take some getting used to.
What's that?
It might take some getting used to.
Yeah, and I think there's the layout I think I like better in Vin. And maybe it's because the dealerships I was at before never had it, but we're set up to do texting and click to call and everything. So that part is nice in Dealer Socket. I never used it in anything else. So, I mean, that's one advantage that it seems to have for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say, I not to put numbers out there, what percentage of your budget do you think is spent on social media?
I could not even come close to telling you a percentage, but I know it's nowhere near enough.
How many cars do you think your store sold last month on social media?
Outside of salespeople doing it themselves, I'd say maybe 5.
That came from social media?
Yep. It's very low.
Yeah. And it used to be even less than that. It's just customers are now choosing to use Facebook Messenger to reach out to businesses more frequently, which someone actually mentioned on here, using Messenger to manage FB leads truly sucks. I'll 100% agree with that. It is a nightmare to use Messenger to try and manage leads. and communicate with leads, which is why I'd love to use Messenger because it would be free for us to use Facebook's API, and it'd save me about 40 grand a month in fees. But unfortunately, it's just not the most efficient way. And I'd rather spend the 40 grand on text messages than use the free platform of Messenger, just because it's not the most efficient way to get a hold of customers and manage them. So I know Dan's been working. Has he done a demo with anyone there?
I believe he has. I know he did it with our Chrysler rep, who is I kind of pushed him into seeing a demo, and once he's seen it, he fell in love with it. And he sees.
I think Dan told me about that demo with the Chrysler rep.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, Patrick O'Brien is right up the road from us. And I keep showing, he's just as busy, if not busier than I am on a normal day. I mean, he's running all over the place, doing F&I, sales manager, a little bit of everything. And he's still able to do set appointments and everything with TECOBI. I mean,
he signed up on the Ninjas because it got to the point where, I think when he signed up, there was 90 people sitting there waiting for a reply. So it did eventually get to the point where it overwhelmed him and he needed to bring in reinforcements. But yes, it allows him to do a lot more lead follow-up himself as a desk manager without having to rely on his salespeople to do it.
Right. And that's, like I said, a lot of our salespeople are getting so backlogged that we've got the floor manager and myself just making normal routine internet calls. And I mean, if I had the TECOBI to sit there and, text message 1,000 people at once, it surely limits the workload.
Yeah, it brings the workload down quite a bit. And that's kind of what I see happening in CRMs is the salespeople are getting such a backlog that they don't even know where to start. And they just kind of give up. And instead of actually doing something, they just give up because it's so backlogged on them that they just don't know where to start. And they're waiting for that next fresh lead to come in, and they forget all about the stuff that's not being worked. And it definitely changes that perspective if you're willing to rethink how you follow up with leads, because you don't end up with such a huge backlog, and it helps you be more efficient. But outside of that, what do you do on social media? Let's look at your Facebook page. What are you doing?
Not enough.
Not enough? How many friends do you have?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I used it so when I came, I wish everything was out when I came into the business that is now. And I tell my salespeople that all the time because they're not utilizing it enough. And so being new to the market is I'm trying to find, okay, what groups and what stuff can I market myself in this market? I mean, I think
to do that, you need to take a step back. Marketing to people is a little abrasive.
Right.
And you don't want to come across as spammy or come buy something from me. But from looking at your wall, you're posting pretty regularly, or your wife is tagging you. Looks like more often.
That's her.
But I do see some posts in here. One with your daughter, spending time with them. I would say start with your customers. Start with the customers that are coming in. Do you do any EMIs, early manager interventions? How often are you talking to customers as a sales manager?
Not as often as I would like, but very often. My setup is pretty good and bad at the same time. We've got 20 salespeople. I've got myself and my GM who work side by side on the desk, and I've got a floor manager. So a lot of times when we're working deals, it's multiple deals. So I don't get a lot of time to go out and talk to customers. I do make sure I introduce myself, say hi, introduce the floor manager. So he's involved very early and a lot more in depth than I am. But I do talk to a lot of customers as early as I can, as often as possible.
Yeah, so that would be a great place to start. I mean, if you start doing it, then your salespeople will probably start doing it. But making friends with those customers, the ones that seem friendly, that you can get along with, that that are going to love the pictures of your daughter and be a part of that. Especially being new to the area, those are a great place to start. One thing that I do is when I add someone, if it's someone that I am, actively pursuing to become a customer or to get to know better, is there's a see first option. So you can go to their profile and you can click see first. That way, when you go to the news feed, they're kind of in the top of the news feed so that you can engage with them. So oftentimes I'll get a customer will sign up with us, a dealer, and I'll add the people that are being, that are on that team, and then I'll move them to see first so that I can engage with their content more and start to really get their attention and let them know, hey, I'm here, I'm paying attention to what you're posting. And then as you start engaging with more and more of those customers, as you add them, you engage with them, the Find Friends feature on Facebook is going to get smarter, and it's going to start knowing what kind of people you're looking for. And since those people live in your area, it's going to start geographically finding people that live in the area. And it makes it super easy. Like right now, if I go to my Find Friends feature, there's probably 10 general managers. There's a BDC manager, sales managers, all kinds of managers at car dealerships that I just go there and I add 10 of them real quick, or 15, or 20 or 30 of them. And then it's just easy because Facebook's gotten so smart that it knows I want to engage with people in the car business. So if you add your customers, hit see first, engage with them. After a while, that Find Friend feature is going to get really smart, and it's going to start helping direct you to people to add in the area. But I always recommend managers do it because the salespeople aren't going to do it until the managers do it. It's not really hard. Everyone's on Facebook because they want to make friends. So it's not. I mean, we're there because we want to make friends. We want to engage with people. We want to communicate with people. So it's not like they're going to. You might get the random customer who's just a jerk that is like, I'm not going to be your friend on Facebook. Well, okay, no problem. But the majority of customers aren't going to mind. Hey, I'm going to add you real quick on Facebook. And you add them up on Facebook, and that would be a great way for you to. If it was me in your shoes, I wouldn't. Even if I wasn't desking the deal, every customer I had an opportunity to, I'd be like, hey, can I add you on Facebook? 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 And then keep posting the daughter in your life and engage with those customers and let them see that you're a real person. Because on my earlier video, Frank brought up, everybody wants to know, have that guy that they can go buy a car from. And they see your daughter and they see your family and the things that you're doing, and they see that you're not a heroin addict, or you actually are a real person with a family that cares about your family, and they start to build a relationship with you. So when they start thinking about their next car, they're going to remember you. And that's a really fast way to get to like Frank's level of 100 cars, is to use Facebook to build those relationships. But the sales guys will never do it until they see the managers do it, because people do what they see. And the managers should always be adding those people. But you're doing good stuff. I mean, I see lots of family stuff. I'm actually going to put you on my see first list. So I'm going to put you on there. Let's see. And we're going to see you first, and I should see more of your content coming up. How long have we been friends on Facebook?
Oh, geez. I don't know. It's been a little while. I would say probably got to be about a year and a half now, but I'm not positive.
You feel like you know me pretty well from my posts?
I think so.
Yeah. So that's really what you want to build. That's what you want to build with people in the community. So anyways, I'll let you get back to your day. Is it your day off today?
Yep. I actually get one of those once in a while.
It's all right. I don't get days off, unfortunately. My phone's always on.
Oh yeah.
The price of a business owner, you get to go home, but you still have to answer your damn phone.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll let you get off here. You have any questions for me?
Not really. So you see the auto business completely different than we do, obviously.
Yes, I see it from
where, in your opinion, I have my own opinion, but in your opinion, where do you see the car business going?
Advertising wise, or
as far as like online stuff, or in your opinion, do you think Carvana is going to take over, or stuff like that?
No, I think eventually the dealers will be pressed to come up with a much smoother car buying process. I don't think that a Carvana and that type of delivery process is going to really be mainstream. I mean, they're going to do well, but they're not going to become mainstream. Check out and then your car shows up at your house and you return it. I mean, I'm one of those shoppers. I can't stand even a cell phone. I want to go hold the cell phone in my hand before I buy it. I'm not a big online shopper, so I can kind of relate to the non-online shopper people. But dealers are definitely going to be pressed to streamline their process. I think right now the majority of friction in a dealership is in finance.
Yep.
And it's because of the way that we're advertising our vehicles. We advertise them at next to nothing, and we have to try and make that back in finance. That results in a slowed down process with finance managers trying to sell product on the back end.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to be pressed to really look at that process and see if there's a way to streamline that and make it smoother for the customer. In an ideal world, and part of what I'm working towards is the customer would see the vehicle on Facebook, and then within 30 minutes they'll have their approval. And as long as the vehicle fits within these guidelines, you go in, you pick up your vehicle, your financing's already in place. You test drive it, you leave. You're out of the dealership in a 30, 45 minute window.
Yep.
And that's ideally where we're going to have to go. I just don't think that the concept of having a car delivered to me and then returning it 7 days is going to pan out. It's a lot. It's already hard enough to buy a car. I don't want to have to return a car. I don't even like having to return a pair of shoes. You know what I mean? It's already a pain in the ass to return pardon my French. It's already a pain in the butt to return a pair of shoes, more or less returning a vehicle. And I just don't see that as being the end result. I still think there's going to be franchise dealerships. I just think that the slowed down process that we have in finance is going to have to get looked at. And that means we're going to have to maybe look at the way we're advertising so that we can make money on the front end of a vehicle again and not be so dependent on that back end profit and slowing down the car deal because we're trying to make sure that we can keep the lights on with that back end profit. Which if any customers are watching this, dealerships have to keep the lights on, guys. I mean, they have to keep the lights on. And that is what they're doing. They're trying to keep the lights on with a profit in the back end. And if you don't know what that is, that means the gap and warranty and all the other things that they sell in finance. That's how they're keeping the lights on. But that slows down everything. That slows everything down. So that process is going to have to be sped up in order to keep customers happy and get them in and out. Just left Blaine at Kelly. Yeah, I'm going to do a live with Blaine. He loves us. He wants a few collared shirts like I'm wearing. These shirts are for employees. We don't give out these shirts. We have hats, and we're out of those for right now. But next time, maybe you can get one. You don't have one of our hats, CJ?
No, I wasn't going to ask for one until I got you guys signed up. But if you want to send me one, I'm happy to wear it.
You got to catch Scarlett. She sends those out. I don't send them. Everyone messages me. I'm like, I don't even know how to send them. Like, she has some PO box and sends an email. I don't even know where to send the email. Anyways, I'll let you go. We're coming up short on our time here. I appreciate you joining on here and being willing to talk. And hopefully Dan can get your store closed and get you guys some help with lead follow-up. But keep crushing it, man. Keep enjoying this business. Keep a smile on your face and keep helping customers.
Absolutely. Have a good one, man. Peace out.
Peace.